Hello Rossoneri fans, this is our 8th appointment of our AC Milan talk. We'll be discussing everything about the first team, the women's and also the under-19. We are ready, so let's begin. As usual, I'm not alone for this journey. My partners for today are Sheridan.
Hi, Juicy.
And Adriano del Monte. Welcome.
Hello, Juicy.
So let's start by talking about the first team. We have to say it's the 4th consecutive win, and again, another clean sheet. Sheridan, let's comment on this 2-0 result.
It was a brilliant result against the side Atalanta, who have been one of the most impressive teams in recent history in Serie A. So to beat Atalanta so convincingly and to keep another clean sheet is just a really positive thing to occur.
Standings looking very nice there as well. Obviously now level with Inter, second place.
That's right.
Another win, another clean sheet, Juicy. It was a near perfect performance. It was an Atalanta team, of course. Well, maybe didn't come in their best form, but certainly an Atalanta team that have been very tough to beat. So a very promising performance with a lot of positives to take away.
Also, we have to say there were 90 minutes of AC Milan dominating and many chances were there also in the very last part that we wasted, but still what counts are the 3 points, and once again, the Rossoneri are the protagonist of the season.
Some goal, this one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Theo just doing what he does best, getting forward. And again, we've really seen, we've discussed it a lot, Sheridan, but we've seen Theo Hernandez, look at him, enjoying it there with Ibrahim, having a lot of fun.
That's the spirit.
And this is Theo at his best. That is very difficult to do.
What a shot.
Obviously fortunate with the deflection there going in, but you put yourself in a good position, Sheridan. That's the result.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, and this is the second goal from Junior Messias. But just going back briefly to Theo's goal, it was just a really good finish. He's a flair player. We've said it before that he's more of a Brazilian than a Frenchman in the way he plays as a fullback. And also, Juicy, the kit looks pretty good too, doesn't it? The lovely shirt.
That's right, that's right. I know you like to talk about the shirts, and we have to say this one is fire.
It is, it's fiery. And also, we saw at the end of that clip, Maignan
That's right, that's
saluting
what
the
I
camera.
wanted to ask you about.
Great to have Magic Mike back. He brings such a solidity to the team. He's a charismatic leader as well. It was just a really positive evening at San Siro, and hopefully there'll be many more to come.
As you said, the leader is back, and not only him, because on the 73rd minute, also Zlatan Ibrahimović walked on the pitch again, and actually San Siro exploded, didn't it?
They did. The big man is back in town, and it's just, you can't have too many leaders, too many totems on the pitch. And I know that you were particularly impressed with the atmosphere, that the rapturous welcome they gave the big Swede.
Absolutely. I was there at the match where he made the bench for the first time, and the love that he was shown when his name was called out in the pre-match was beautiful enough. Obviously, at the weekend, these scenes, Zlatan coming back out onto the pitch, obviously the warm-up and the minutes in the lead-up, you just felt that his presence and his return just so important to this group, and we've discussed it before, but not only on the pitch where obviously he had an impact, it was great to see him out there, but just amongst the players in the dressing room, having a presence like that, there is no price tag you can put on a player with the experience of Zlatan Ibrahimović. And we heard from him, we heard that he's so happy to be back out there, and well, Zlatan doing that at his age, I hope we see many more years of it to come.
Also, since we were talking about him, let's listen to his words after the first game of the season.
Il merito di tutta la squadra, soprattutto a partire dagli attaccanti. Stiamo lavorando tanto, stiamo lavorando bene, questo chiaramente facilita a sporcare le giocate avversarie, facilita i nostri difensori che comunque nell'uno contro uno sono molto solidi, molto veloci. E dobbiamo assolutamente continuare, perché è chiaro che insomma, volevamo questa quarta vittoria, volevamo dare continuità alle nostre prestazioni e soprattutto ai nostri risultati, e adesso dobbiamo concentrarci perché vorremmo continuare ancora.
È una sensazione difficile spiegare, perché se passa qualcuno capisce che sensazione è, perché è una sensazione che ti dà forza, motivazione, adrenalina, ti dà tutto, e questo, dopo tutto quello che ho sofferto, penso che meritavo di passare questa sensazione. È ovvio che voglio stare bene, poi sempre detto, quando sto bene ritorno in campo per giocare e aiutare la squadra in campo. Fino adesso ho aiutato da fianco, ma adesso voglio essere in campo e fare quello che amo e quello che è mia passione, è giocare calcio. Adesso è un momento un po' più è positivo e c'è luce, no? 3-4 settimane fa era differente, ma questo è parte di campionato. Ce l'hai momenti alti, bassi. L'importante è quando è basso alzarsi in alto per essere là, per combattere per questi trofei che stiamo giocando. Ma non è ancora finito. Adesso stiamo bene, dobbiamo continuare, non essere soddisfatti, non essere rilassati, invece di avere più fame di fare di più, perché quando passi questo momento capisci che sensazione è, come stai, come va, e questo lo vuoi avere sempre durante l'anno, durante il campionato. Però per avere questo feeling devi continuare a lavorare, è così, devi continuare a lavorare concentrato, recuperare bene e sempre avere fame di fare di più.
So these were the words of Coach Pioli and Zlatan Ibrahimović. Stefano Pioli actually said that AC Milan has no intention of stopping. So with the new formation, this team has a new life, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's almost, perhaps rebirth is a bit dramatic, but it's been a really positive change because January, we've spoken about it, January didn't go well. Mr. Pioli reacted. He made a tactical change. 1 or 2 players came back from injury, and now the team have to continue. They mustn't rest on their laurels. They can't relax now, as Mr. Ibrahimović said in that interview. Keep building on what happened in February, take it into March, April, May, and beyond.
Like Zlatan said, they came through the difficult January period, and this is now the reward, but they need to continue working because the results won't just come. They need to stick at what they've done and continue performing on the pitch, and Zlatan was very open. I really liked hearing from Zlatan there post-match, very open and transparent about the fact that he knows he's still got some work to do to get back to his best, to be able to impact this team in the way that he knows how. So Zlatan can still improve, the team can continue to improve, and if the results continue to come, this will be a team in a very, very good position come season's end.
Also, since we're talking about the comeback of Zlatan Ibrahimović, let's go back to Maignan being on the pitch from the very first minute of the game against Atalanta. The leader is back on in action, and we have to say that after months of absence, we're really looking forward to seeing him.
This is so good to see. So good to see Maignan back, this reception, this return after so long out. It must be difficult for a player in any scenario like this, but so many months out on the sidelines, missing so much football, especially after last season showed what he was able to do, the impact he had. So great to see him back out there.
Yeah, he was one of the many leaders, protagonists of last season's Scudetto. And he's missed a large chunk of this season, which has been a real shame. But we have to also add that Ciprian Tatarușanu has made some vital contributions when called upon. So there's no disrespect to Ciprian, but to have, there the two are indeed, there's mutual respect between them. But to have Maignan back, it just gives the fans, the team, such a boost. He was given a very warm welcome, and he's a very modern goalkeeper. He's large, he's imposing, but he's also very quick. He's good with his feet. He's just an all-round great goalkeeper.
And not bad, a clean sheet on
return.
return.
That's right. We have to keep it up with the clean sheet. And now we jump into the next game, the one against Fiorentina, because of course the trip to Florence have never been actually easy for AC Milan. We have to say that last year we lost with a 4-3 result, and also the last game against Fiorentina. We won it, but it was a little hard. We won it at the very last minute. So what do you think about it?
Fiorentina, I think, are one of those sides that it's fair to say they're not having a great season, they're not having a great time, but you have to go into the match as if you're playing a team that are on the top of their game, because it won't be easy. Atalanta, for example, you might say it's easier to get motivated against Atalanta because they're a very, very impressive side. So I think Mr. Pioli will be fully aware that Fiorentina, might not look like the hardest task of the fixture list, but they have to take it seriously and continue this wonderful run.
They have come a long way recently, Fiorentina. Probably haven't been at the level that most would have expected, but have been performing well in Europe. They're into the next stage of their respective European competition. So I like the timing of this match. This was, of course, a reverse fixture earlier this season. This was the last match before the break for the World Cup. Leal there with the opener at San Siro. This was one of many, Sheridan, that I was at. 2-1. Yeah. It finished at the end there, Milan with the winner. But again, I think it's a nice timely test. Recent fixtures, Monza were in good form. Atalanta, okay, they weren't in great form. But it's good to be facing teams who have had a bit of recent success just to keep this Milan team performing at the highest level possible. So, look, I think a Fiorentina team that I'm very confident Milan go in as favourites. 3 points should certainly be the target. But, yeah, as you said, Juicy, there have been some very tough matches in Firenze in recent seasons.
See, we saw the images of Rafael against Fiorentina, but he won't be there next game, actually. I have to point that out.
Of course, and he'll be missed, but, you get Zlatan and Maignan back, you temporarily lose Rafael. That's why it's a squad game, Juicy. That's why it's a sport in which you have to use the resources you've got as at the time of the fixture. And I'm sure someone will be prepared to, make the absence of Rafael seem less traumatic.
Also, we have everyone available. Benacer and Calabria are
great news.
Again, training with the team.
Very good news and great to see, of course. Maignan returning now, getting this squad back to full strength or as close to it as possible is a great sign. This was what was key to Milan's success last season. There was depth, there was quality across the park for Mr. Pioli. So the more the return, the better, especially now looking ahead with some very important fixtures to come. We know the return leg in the Champions League against Tottenham is coming up. This is a massive week for the club, so to have a near full-strength squad available, perfect timing.
Now that we've discussed everything about the first team, we jump into some off-the-pitch activities. For the off-the-pitch activities, we go back to the beautiful gala evening celebrating the 20th anniversary of Fondazione Milan. We have to say that, of course, it was the charity dinner attended by the whole team and the whole management. So let's take a look at this beautiful dinner.
Negli ultimi 20 anni abbiamo donato in varie forme 12 milioni di euro, abbiamo realizzato 230 progetti insieme a 170 organizzazioni in 23 paesi nel mondo. Continueremo a fare delle cose belle come fondazione, sempre seguendo le nostre linee. Le nostre linee quali sono? Vogliamo fare tanto, intanto per cominciare, delle cose su Milano. Su Milano perché Milano è la nostra città, ma abbiamo un occhio importante verso l'estero, a Calcutta, Nairobi, Rio de Janeiro e naturalmente in Ucraina a Irpin. E quindi tutti noi siamo impegnati in questa attività in cui vogliamo essere vicini alla gente che ha bisogno.
Noi come Milan non siamo solo un club di calcio, una società, un brand globale in un settore enorme, di enorme rilevanza sia economica che mediatica, ma siamo anche un'istituzione sociale e culturale e in quanto tale abbiamo la possibilità di promuovere messaggi rilevanti, iniziative socialmente importanti. La Fondazione Milan è molto importante, è una grande piattaforma per fare queste cose e devo dire che abbiamo anche la fortuna che per il nostro azionista questi temi sono rilevanti e importanti e per i nostri giocatori che sono dei role models e sono socially engaged, abbiamo la fortuna che anche loro ci aiutano e dedicano il loro tempo in queste cose. Grazie ancora, buona serata e forza Milan.
Parlo di cuore, quasi un anno che il mio paese è in guerra. Il Milan e Fondazione Milan veramente stati veri amici.
Io ho avuto la fortuna di essere tesserato con questo club 31 anni, ho vinto veramente tante cose, ma una delle vittorie più belle è senza dubbio aver fatto 20 anni con questa fondazione e aver raccolto 12 milioni da donare a persone che hanno più bisogno.
was.
Beautiful feelings of the night. We just took a look at the best of the night. So, sure, yes, I know.
What a wonderful... That looked like such a nice event for a good cause, naturally, but it looked really good fun as well.
Looked like there was a great host of the event.
A glamorous
as well.
lady on the stage.
Very nicely done.
I wonder who she was, and great to see Andriy Shevchenko.
Was she any good?
Was she any good?
Was she any good?
How was the evening, though? It looked beautiful.
It was incredible, and I had the honor to invite on the stage such important people of the AC Milan, and not only that, but discussing very deep topics also, and that was really...
It looked like a wonderful event, and great to see so many big, legendary faces from Milan history. Maldini, Andriy Shevchenko.
Like we saw in the clip as well, it's more than just a club. This is not just a football club. It means
right.
so much more, and it is beautiful to see, and I'm sure beautiful to be a part of.
Of course it was, and we have to say that a part of this beautiful event, AC Milan is always getting closer to some off-the-pitch activities. For example, during the last game against Atalanta, during the warm-up, we took a look at some beautiful, actually, images and some lights going on there, a beautiful show. And it was to present the next movie, Creed 3. And we got to look also, this was a rap battle actually on the pitch, but also we got the chance to take a look at the trailer of what will be the next movie with Michael B. Jordan starring in it. And actually, he was the director too, Sheridan.
Looks like a lot of fun, and Milan trying to make it a 360-degree experience before the match. You have this pre-match entertainment in that boxing ring there, because Creed 3 is obviously a boxing-themed film.
Very good film, I've heard, Sheridan.
I'm looking forward to seeing it myself, and you can see those rappers there with the new Milan and Kosher kit as well. I'm sure it was great fun for everybody involved, not just a football match, but an event. I would like to see Adriano in the middle of the boxing ring rapping next time, if anyone can make that happen.
Not my go, but it certainly is some spectacle.
Creed 4 with Adriano del Monte.
Exactly, we'll see what we can do, but that is some spectacle. And the fact the team then came out and put in the performance they did made it all the more special. But very, very good, very entertaining. I'm sure all the fans in attendance loved it.
Now that we've discussed these off-the-pitch activities, we're now going to jump into the world of our AC Milan women. So let's draw a balance of the regular season after the 4-0 result in Como, Sheridan.
It was a good way to end the regular season. It was a type of local derby, a Lombardian derby, and to win 4-0 away from home is always something to be celebrated. It wasn't an easy match. I think perhaps the scoreline might be a little bit deceptive and the conditions were tough. Look at that pitch. But Milan playing in the white away kit really gave a good account of themselves. That's a spectacular volley there from Martina Piemonte, who is in incredible form this season. That's Berger's cross, and that's a lovely volley from Martina. Worth seeing several times. I'm sure Adriano agrees that was a lovely goal.
Form continues, doesn't it, Sheridan? Very, very good. Good way to start the match. Obviously, they went on with it and they did what they needed to do.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, this goal made it comfortable at 2-0. I think it was actually an own goal. This was in the second half when Martina Piemonte again, it was that woman again, made it 3-0, showing her aerial prowess this time. Got in front of her marker and a looping header into the net to make it 3-0. And then the final goal, which was the cherry on top of the cake, was came from out wide again. And look at that. That's a pretty decent effort to make it 4-0. I think it was Valeri Vigilucci with the volley there.
Very good finish.
Spectacular goal.
Very
Tough
finish.
conditions as well, I have to say. It wasn't an easy match. It was really, really cold. The pitch wasn't the best, but it was incredibly professional by Mr. Gantz's side.
Now we have to say that the calendar of the Scudetto poll is out, so how does the final phase actually work this season?
Well, this is the first season where the format has changed. So the top 5 will break off into what's called the championship group. The bottom 5 will break off into the relegation group. So essentially what it means for the Milan women now going forward, there's 8 rounds to play in Serie, Giussi, and they'll play each of the other top 5 teams, both home and away, of course. Coppa Italia to come. So home and away against Roma in the semi-finals there. Hopefully a win, they go through to another Coppa Italia final. But with Serie, 8 fixtures to play. 6 points between Milan and currently Juventus in second, and of course top 2 go through to the UEFA Women's Champions League. So still plenty to play for, some big matches to come to wrap up the season.
Also, we have to say that we can actually already project ourselves to what's going to be the Coppa Italia semi-final against Roma, because the next 2 weekends are dedicated to it.
Yeah, it's a chance to get some silverware. It's very important. Every tournament that you enter, you want to go into it with the intention of winning it, and Roma are a very, very good team. So it won't be easy, but a bit like we were saying with the men's senior team earlier, that you want to play the best teams, you want to play them when they're in good form. That was the recent victory against Fiorentina, I believe, in the last round of the Coppa Italia. And nice cross by, or free kick by Arnadotte. And who scored? Guess who scored, Juicy? Of course, Martina Piemonte. So going into this cup match, the Rossonere are in good form.
You don't have a nickname for her too, though.
Martina.
That's creative.
Martina. Well, Harry Kane. I call her Harry Kane.
Oh,
Her style reminds me of the
Nice.
England captain Harry Kane.
We can do better than that. Next week.
We probably can do better than that, yes.
Now that we've discussed everything about our AC Milan women, we jump into the world of our under-19. So unfortunately, in the last game against Fiorentina, actually a defeat came along, but we have to say that on the European pitch, great satisfaction came along, because actually on Tuesday in the Youth League we passed around against Lviv.
Yeah, the good news just keeps coming. The men's team, the women's team, and the youth team, they won in the round of 16 match against Lviv from Ukraine. It was a very tough match. We had spoken last week that Ru had knocked out Inter on penalties.
Right.
And it looked very much like they were perhaps trying to achieve the same outcome in this match, because they played in a very organised manner. They were very solid, but they weren't taking risks. And it's understandable that they were perhaps saying, let's get it to penalties, see what we can do. But right on the 86th minute, Kevin Zeroli, one of my favourite players in the youth team, whose aerial ability is second to none, got into the area. Great cross from Bakune, between 2 central defenders, a bullet header into the roof of the net, and that was enough. The Ukrainian side, they battled so hard. They showed really huge amounts of pride, the Ukrainians, but they just weren't quite good enough on the day, which was a shame for them. And we obviously want to, we wish for great things for the Ukrainian side, and it's a difficult time for their country. But on the pitch, it was Milan's day.
Great to see Paolo Maldini there as well. And of course, now Giussi, Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals. Milan in Europe just works. So Milan go through now to the quarterfinals. Atletico, a very highly rated opponent, but should be another fantastic match, and that match will be played here in Milan.
So we have to say that maybe playing in the European competition is giving this guys actually a big push.
Absolutely, an opportunity to play, especially in the knockout stages, an opportunity to play against the continent's best. And they are these one-off matches where so much is on the line. It really has brought the best out of this young team, and another late winner. It's been their specialty this season.
Yeah, in Europe they save the best till last, and they never count Milan out. And I think the factor of playing in the domestic championship and then the UEFA Youth League, I think it's 100% natural that some matches you get more motivated for than others. They're humans, they're young players as well, and there might be some fixtures which aren't as glamorous, as exciting, whereas the UEFA Youth League is something that really attracts players. And I think it's normal that there are ups and downs, because we mustn't forget they're really young men and they're here to learn. They're learning the craft, they're developing their skills, and they're doing very well under the manager we just saw there, Ignazio Abate, who was a fullback for Milan in his playing days, and he is leading them on the right path. There will be moments that are difficult, but there will also be golden moments, like against Lviv.
So now we can also project ourselves to what is going to be the next game. Actually, for our AC Milan under-19, next picture see the game against Cagliari, and it's the right chance to raise our heads again.
Yeah, I think the test is to see how the team react after doing so well in Europe, and that's the job of Mr. Abate and his staff, to try and get the players to be motivated for all matches equally, because that's the trick. If you want to make it to the top level, you have to take all of your matches incredibly seriously. There's a lovely goal goal there. A nice bit of sunshine there. There'll be sunshine when the team play in Sardinia as well, Giusy, unlike here in northern Italy. So they're very lucky boys to be going to Sardinia this weekend. But that's Jordan Longhi with a really good finish there. Mr. Bate in a T-shirt. Look at that. You remember the days of wearing T-shirts?
That's September, Sheridan. That's a long time ago. But good success in the reverse fixture. Hopefully they can repeat it this weekend. And I'm sure they will take a lot of confidence from that performance in Europe.
All right, so thank you, Sheridan Bird, for being with me also today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Giusy.
Thank you again, Adriano Del Monte.
Thank you, Giusy. Always a pleasure.
Now that we've discussed everything about our AC Milan first team, women and under 19, we'll be meeting again next week to keep talking about the Rossoneri team.